Hi, Stuart Bruce here, and I am the Spare Time Property Investor. In these podcasts, I'm going to share tips, tricks, and lessons that I've learned and will hopefully help you, especially if you're still working the 9 to 5. Hello and welcome to the first of my interview episodes where I interview investors who are also holding down a day job or balancing property investment around their other businesses. In this episode, I interview Caroline and Diego from DNC Property Investments. They're based up in West Yorkshire and specialise in buy-to-lets. They do refurbishments and they also source properties. In this interview, they say this.
Dragged Caroline in.
And then I thought, wait a minute.
And they say this.
And by God, I am trying ever so hard every day to put this into practice.
So without wanting to waste any more time, here's the interview. Thank you so much for joining me. But first off, let's talk about your job. So Caroline, you're a speech and language therapist. And Diego, you're an electrical engineer. So they both sound like really busy jobs with lots of responsibilities. So let me know a little bit more about your work life.
Okay, so I am a qualified speech and language therapist. I graduated in 2012 with a degree in speech and language therapy. I graduated from Strathclyde University, that's in Glasgow. And we got married in 2012, which is when I graduated. I moved to West Yorkshire in 2012. Mm-hmm. And then my first post as a speech and language therapist was actually a mixed post. So I was working both for pediatrics and the adult service. And then in sort of 2014, I specialised in pediatrics, which is my current role. Mm-hmm. So I work mainly in mainstream schools around Bradford. I also have some clinic time that I have as well. So my role is basically I have 6 main schools that I visit on a fortnightly basis, mainstream schools in Bradford, and then I've got my clinic time as well. So it's a lot of juggling, kind of being really organised because in each school I have sort of 12 to 24 children on my caseload. I'm assessing these children, I'm reviewing them, I'm setting them targets, I'm giving them one-to-one therapy, I'm giving them group therapy, I'm training the staff to implement all the kind of speech and language strategies. So there is a lot involved in a kind of day-to-day in my role as a speech and language therapist.
So do you mainly work around the term times, or is it all year round kind of?
My contract is all year round. So though I am a commissioned school speech and language therapist, the schools do, kind of pay all year round. So when we're not in school, some of my time is being used in clinic. Some of my time is being used for, sort of prepping resources, prepping training, planning for my, my children, my caseload for the coming term. So yeah, it is an all year round service.
And it sounds pretty full on at that as well. So all year round and pretty full on, going from one school to the next, making sure you're keeping on top of everything. That sounds pretty full on, really.
Yeah, definitely, because there are so many. Like the waiting list in Bradford anyway is massive. Uh-huh. So my little chunk as well, it's a pretty hefty number of children, and they all have really varying needs. Yeah. So I kind of need to know at least a little bit about everything, and there is a lot involved in the role. A lot of things can go wrong.
It sounds it,
with language and with speech.
Yeah, absolutely. And then Diego, you're an electrical engineer, so do you cover quite a large area, or?
Yeah. Just a quick CV as well about myself. Just similar to Caroline, I studied in Glasgow, Strathclyde University, graduated in 2010. Then I got a job with Northern Power Grid, which is the electricity distribution in Yorkshire. And I moved down to West Yorkshire, and I was based there for about 7 years, in Keighley area, just covering literally just the sort of Bradford, Skipton area. And currently I'm working for the Electricity Northwest, which is across now. So I cover Manchester, Bolton. So from that area, Lancashire, all the way up to Carlisle.
Okay.
And what I do, my day-to-day job is basically managing customer network, your big hospitals, your factories, any sort of, just big commercial customer. It's anything to do with maintenance, asset replacement, an upgrade, a new transformer, any issue that I've got. So that's what I do on a day-to-day basis, project management, health and safety side. And
so again, really a lot on your plate again. So both of you have got these very busy jobs. So how do you manage? So how do you manage with these busy jobs? How do you manage to fit the property investment, the property businesses around those responsibilities? And I think you also said in the messages you've got children as well, and so it's a busy household. So how do you manage to fit everything around your job and the children and everything?
We just have to be really clever with our time, I think. For me, I work 30 hours a week, in my speech therapy role, which means that I manage one full day, that is my property day.
Okay.
And then I tend to spend that day to do my viewings. So, any kind of viewings and seeing estate agents, that sort of thing. All of that I save for a Friday. All the kind of other admin tasks, the social media and all that sort of thing, I utilize my evenings for that. So every evening, that's what I'm doing.
Just to add on to that, it's at the beginning it wasn't that easy, but what it is just having a clear view on what you want to achieve. Sit down. I sat down with Caroline and we had a plan. We mapped out the plan and say, okay, fine. What can you do? What can I do? To give each other tasks, and then look at our busy schedule and find pockets of time, or like lunch breaks, or any spare time, any dead time that you've got, you can utilize. Just do it. Weekends, evenings, early morning. So just making sure you've got your priorities, you've got the kids, you've got your job there, and also your future, your business. Just make it work.
And like you say,
sometimes we've even taken the kids out on viewings. On a Saturday. Saturday is like it's the football, it's the karate, it's the swimming.
Yeah.
So it's okay. We're gonna do your thing, your karate. Then after karate. How exciting! We're gonna go and see a smelly house.
But you're exposing them at a young age, which is fantastic.
Yeah,
that's really good. Yeah, really good.
You'll have to excuse me. I'll be back in a sec.
Here comes
Oh.
So we just have to be really organised and clever with our time.
And finding those little gaps as well. Yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah. So, have you got any projects or anything in the pipeline at the moment, or is Corona getting in the way?
Corona is getting in the way a little bit. Just before, kind of everything kicked off, we had a deal. We were pretty much, at instructing solicitors stage. But then all this other stuff kind of started coming out of the woodworks, things that we hadn't, kind of realised, things mainly around the building, the house. It's got a flying freehold.
Okay, yeah.
But it's not like, kind of a standard typical one that we'd seen before. So it hadn't been something that had, immediately come up to us. We hadn't seen it, and the estate agent, he didn't really know either, and the owner, whether she'd known and not really wanted to let us know in advance, whether she would done that in a dishonest way or not, I'm not really sure. But I'm just talking about the last property with the flying freehold.
Right.
So that was really, really disappointing, and that was just kind of right at the kickstart of Corona.
Yeah.
So what we're focusing on at the minute is just, we're ramping up our marketing. We've got our direct mail campaign on the go. We're continuing with that from before.
Yeah.
Just at the start of Corona, our leaflets, we had a big drop of leaflets go out as well. And we're just really trying to build our social media up as well. So, that's how we're utilizing our time at the minute. And education, like we never stop learning.
Yeah.
So having this time, it's not really kind of extra time for us, is it?
No,
you're really busy, aren't you? So.
We're
I
busy.
suppose,
nothing has changed.
Yeah, but I suppose it doesn't. But I suppose there are certain things you can't go and do. So when you would have been doing those things, you can do a little bit more marketing. You can learn some stuff. So I'm finding it quite a good time in terms of like doing different things, even though I'm still working and everything as well. So that's really interesting. So that property then, has that kind of fallen through, that one with the flying freehold?
Yes.
We had to step away from that one.
What a nuisance.
Yeah, just there were too many uncertainties or.
Yeah, when you've got your when you've got your mortgage broker, your solicitor, and the surveyor, all three of them telling you
something fishy here.
It's not good.
Yeah, it's not a good sign.
Your money, if you want to invest it, that's fine, but we would rather you don't.
Okay.
But that's the good thing about having that team, like those the guys we use, like they're fab. Like every single time we've taken something to our mortgage broker, we've said, what do you think about this? He asks us, the right sorts of questions and gets us to go and kind of take a second look at things. He saves us.
That's really good.
What we've done both our broker is a property investor, so he knows the game. The solicitor as well.
That's fantastic.
They invest in property as well, so they know the game. So it worked in our favor. Yeah.
It's so important.
We wouldn't just take the decision lightly. The guidance.
It's so important to have people who have that experience as well, because you can get a mortgage broker and day in, day out, they'll just do normal residential mortgages, or you'll get a solicitor who will never touch buy-to-let or HMOs or anything like that. And, it's just not their experience, is it? So it's fantastic to have people who are involved in property investment.
Definitely, yeah.
Cool, okay. So, what sparked your interest in the first place in property investment?
For me?
From the beginning. I looked at this and I kind of thought, trying to kind of, it feels a bit like history now, and trying to kind of pinpoint what it was, what brought us here.
I would say it's like a cocktail of everything that we've heard in the past. One of my best friends started listening to or like reading Robert Kiyosaki's book, Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Yeah. Back
in 2008, he was really into it and he wanted to go into property. And at that time, I wasn't even thinking about investment, or I just thought uni, work, and that's it. And then obviously I did that, got the job that I really loved, still enjoy the job. But it's like a dead end, I'm forever busy working and you feel like you've not got enough to show for. So I thought, well, it's either get a second job or find some sort of investment and to get us to where we want to be. So I started, look around. I know there's a question coming up on that, but in a nutshell, I read Rich Dad Poor Dad as well. And that's when I started looking at properties. From that book, I thought, oh, well, he's done really well in property. And I know that, a house is a good investment. So that's how I started really with property. And then I sort of dragged Caroline in.
I think for me, like you said, growing up, it's just that of you have that mentality in your head, whether it's, the upbringing, what they're telling you in school. You go to university, you get a job, you get married, you buy a house, and then that's it.
It's kind of a set route, isn't it?
That's your you're more
oh.
That's I think for a long time, that's the mindset that I had was, we've got our house now. That's us. That's us. We're on the property ladder, done. But then Diego keeps going on and on about this rich dad, poor dad. I think it was coming up for your birthday, actually. And I bought you the CDs. I bought the CDs because he was doing a lot of driving to and from Manchester at the time. So he started listening to the audiobooks, and kind of every night he's coming in, you've got to listen to this. You've got to listen to this. It makes so much sense. And, I kind of gave it a yeah. Eventually did listen. And then I thought, wait a minute. There's more to it. There's more to it than
Absolutely.
just, get it on the property ladder and then what?
I tell you what, it's so many people have that book there somewhere in their story, don't they? In terms of a book that inspired them, opened their mind, opened their eyes to a different way. It's inspired so many different people. It's incredible, really. And property isn't even that big in it. There's just a few mentions, and they have this flat that his wife buys, and then she manages to buy a Porsche and stuff like that, doesn't she? From memory. So it's. It's in there, but it's not the whole kind of thrust of the book. So
it's about mindset, isn't it? And until you kind of have that shift in your mindset, then I was anyway. I was a little bit closed off. I don't know whether it was my circle, whether it was my upbringing. I never kind of. I was never, sort of business minded. Business was just something that, those people did. But, kind of starting reading that, and then, other books as well. I've just, is that shift of, actually, no, it's not just for them.
No, exactly.
I can do business too.
Absolutely.
Too, which is amazing.
And there's so many inspirational people out there. You can see them doing these amazing things with social media and stuff. And I think it really allows you to think, actually, no, I do see people who are doing this who aren't just some really rich fat guy who's like, ivory tower, big cigar, that whole kind of stereotype. It's great,
Yeah, people like me.
Yeah. So once you kind of you got your head around it, you kind of started believing that was something you wanted to do and felt like you could do it. So how did you start kind of learning about property, and did you go on any training or have a mentor or anything like that?
That's the clever thing about
Facebook
advertising. Facebook ads, that's how they got us. So he'd been going on about Rich Dad. I had never searched anything else investment, never searched anything else property, never searched anything else business, just that book. I bought that book on Amazon, and then all of a sudden my Facebook feeds what's coming up on there.
Got bombarded.
There's one free evening type thing in Bradford. And at some stage to him, your guy is in Bradford. So I'm thinking Kiyosaki is going to be in Bradford for this like 10 quid ticket or whatever. So got you the ticket. You went on that first one, and then when he came back, obviously, kind of they sell it really well at those kind of events and things, don't they? But they're not selling you something that's not real, but they are salespeople at the end of the day. So he's coming back. He wants to spend this money. He wants to spend that money. I'm sort of, are you sure? Are you sure? But eventually just kind of decided to kind of take that leap of faith. and hand over the credit card, and paid for the first lot of training, those kind of 3-day intensive types of things.
Yeah.
So he went on one of those, and then it just kind of grew from there. Did maybe 3-4 other courses. Diego kept kind of going to those courses, and then every time he'd come back and kind of feedback on that, and then by then I'm getting more and more interested. But they're really, really expensive, a lot of those courses. So we could never really both of us go. And the kids as well, who's going to watch the kids? All our family are in Scotland, Guernsey, Jersey. There's nobody here in West Yorkshire. So he's going on all these courses, feeding back, teaching as best he could. What he's learning on these courses, but of course, I'm getting more and more curious until, I went on a couple of courses as well. Then we joined Mastermind together. Just the education is really, really important. Like, anyone can buy a house. But knowing, how to do it right, do it properly. You need to get yourself educated.
So you found those courses and that training valuable then, in terms of knowing what to do, what to look out for, what to avoid, and did it help you decide on Did it help you decide on what strategy and stuff as well as the kind of overall training, or?
I'd say the courses really gave us a sort of foundation. Also, then we started making links with kind of like-minded people, and the more you get into that sort of circle, the more you sort of talk to people. You find out things, don't you? So from the courses, from the masterminds, from just talking to people and networking, it's all kind of built into our pot, hasn't it? But starting with the courses, they were good for us. I would say.
I'd say it gives you a good foundation. You need the education as well as the self-development. Because
absolutely.
You can have all the books that you want. You can go to all the fancy universities or courses, but at the end of the day, it's down to you. You need to apply it. You need to change your mindset, and then follow on with everything that's been taught, that people have taught you, and you need to go out there and start doing it, and then start facing the challenges, start facing everything else. So you read, you go out, you practice on your power team or the networking, people around you to support you through that journey. And I think we got that from the course, because if I didn't go to the course, then I don't think all those doors would have opened up. If that makes sense. So I know you look online and you hear other people with different mindsets saying, well, it's money wasted, money, you go to those courses, you're never going to make it. All it is just, a pyramid scheme, or they're just selling you a product to make money. But at the end of the day, it's information that they're giving you, well packaged up, but it's down to you. It's your mindset to be successful in action.
I suppose there's the other thing as well. If you read a book which kind of covers the majority of the things that you learn in a course, you can't clarify what's meant by certain kind of information as you go along. So it must be quite helpful to be able to ask the tutor to say, well, what do you mean by this? Or it must be quite helpful. And then going back to the people you're working with, you're saying, so your solicitor, your mortgage broker, and everything, all invest in property. So did you meet those people through your courses, or have you met them subsequently?
The broker Nick and the lawyer, the accountant
Yeah.
as well. She
Oh,
was,
yeah.
I think
Yeah.
most of them.
So it is. Yeah.
Most of them. Yeah,
Yeah,
we
like,
got them. Yeah, they're
recommended from
recommended
these courses and
but
meetings.
the surveyor, I got him through a friend, which I've also met on the course.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. So,
Yeah.
well, I didn't meet him at the course, but he's probably about 4 or 5 years ahead of us in terms of knowledge and investment. So from the course, I then joined a local group, and he was part of the group. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
The business group, the property group, and then we just, I just, we're just good friends. I text him when I need things. So he's introduced me to his builder, the surveyor that he uses, and so yeah.
So like you say, all these networks and networks of networks, all helps. Yeah, that's
absolutely,
really good.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you've got just on that subject, you've got a builder who's a good builder. He's looking for business as well, and if he works with me, and I introduce him to you, and I say, listen, Stuart is not a time waster. He's very serious about what he's doing. Can you accommodate him? He will take you on. He will rather work with you, through a recommendation than finding a random guy on the street and asking him to come and work for him if you like. Because it's about his time as well. He doesn't want to waste his time. He values his time, so he would rather just work with somebody that's serious, has been referred to him. So it's all that. It's like a big circle or a family, happy family.
Big happy family. People always say, who was it said, oh, I'm not in the property business, I'm in the people business. And it sounds corny and
it
cheesy,
does, but it kind of works.
No, like it's about those relationships.
Yeah, absolutely.
That we're building with all sorts of people, from our estate agents, vendors, everyone, the power team. It's just knowing how to talk to people, I think, is really, really important. Making those relationships.
Yeah, absolutely. So once you've done your course, you've made your connections. So then, how did you get onto your first deal? How did you get to raise the funds and stuff like that, or did you?
Oh yeah, just from the course, because I did a creative finance course.
Okay.
So from there, you basically sit down the course to talk about how can you raise finance. What you look at your life from a different angle, right? You might be sat here on a gold mine, whether it's equity in your house or some savings that you have or family members that before I would be very embarrassed to go up to my mom or my sisters and say, listen, I've got this big project and I need funding, can you help? I wouldn't do it, but then they sort of open up your mind, you say, listen, this is your end goal, this is where you want to get, and you need people around you to support you there. So if you go up to them and you tell them this, that, and the other, then you win them, you win them over, and they will help you out. And by helping you out, you help them out as well, because it's money sat in the bank, not earning enough. I don't know if you've seen the rates at the moment.
I have,
on savings,
it's ridiculous.
Going down, you put inflation and all that. So they you all those stuff, you start having discussion with them, and they look at your passion, they look at what you want to achieve, and they will help you out. Or they will find somebody who will help you out. So friends and family, that's where we started.
That's great.
Friends and family, just talking about what we want to do, and if they want to help, and that's how we got finance for the first deal.
And I suppose it makes you know that it's actually okay to go and talk to them about these things as well. Yeah. It's not just a possibility. Yeah. It's opens your mind, opens your eyes to people around you who might benefit from your investing, but also it says to you, it's fine to go and talk to your sister or your brother or your aunt or uncle or whatever.
Yeah.
It's okay, you know, because sometimes I think we
talk about money. It's not a taboo.
Yeah,
topic.
exactly. Yeah. So, okay, so next we've got 3 tips for people around 3 tips that you use for investing around your day job. What have we got?
Good one. That's a good one.
My 3 from my phone.
Right.
I think I would say you have to be, and I'm not coming from this from a, you know, an expert point of view, or, you know, I'm not proclaiming to be an expert in this, but I have the theory, and by God, I am trying ever so hard every day to put this into practice. It's time management, just being like, I find that I need to schedule absolutely everything. If it's not on the schedule, it's not getting done.
Same.
Especially now, like with the kids are at home, I'm working from home, and because they're home, my day job has now moved to the night, which is when I would have done my property things. So I'm having to juggle a lot of things. So if it's not written down and it's not scheduled, then it's not happening. So I just it's that time management.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely.
No, I love it.
Manage time.
I'm totally with you there
down.
as well.
Yeah, so that's my top tip.
Yeah.
Write it down. Top tip number 1. Have a schedule, write it down. We've tried all different ways, and now we have a weekly sort of spreadsheet that we've started using, and that seems to be going all right. We'll see how we go with that.
You're
serious.
You're serious if you put it on a spreadsheet. That's serious.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Serious. Tip number 2, I would say communication. You know, if you're like us doing it together, communication is key, and it fits in really with the scheduling as well. You know, who's doing what when is really, really important. So, you know, we set each other tasks. We, you know, sort of hold each other accountable as well. So we have a board meeting, regular board meetings where we're, you know, communicating with each other about where we're at, where we're going, what we're doing, why we're doing it. Because you can kind of meander off your path a little bit.
Easily, yeah, of course.
Why are you doing that?
Yeah.
Why are you chasing that? We said this.
Yeah.
So top tip 2 for working around your job, communicating with your partner. And making sure you're kind of keeping each other and keeping each other focused. There's
a couple of other points there about meandering off. I think everybody is guilty of that. Everybody does that. And also you mentioned accountability. So I think within there, I think they're really important as well. So what's your tip 3?
Definitely. And tip number 3, I would say, is get yourself a VA, honest to God. Like for ages, we were doing all of the little fiddly tasks, data scraping, and that would take hours. Like it took ages. And then we upped an ad for ages, you know, can we afford a VA? Do we need a VA? And like since we got her, like it's just it's fantastic.
We're able to focus on more important stuff, you know. Rather than, you know, looking at spreadsheets.
That's just
like data scraping. She does that, and then we look at the what's the word I forgot? The
income generating tasks.
Exactly. Income generating. Yeah. So
you know, we say to her, we need our CRM to do this. Yeah. I don't know the first that our CRM we're using is Podio.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know the first thing about Podio, but you know, it's come highly recommended. I've been told what it can do. So I've said to her, you know, this podium can do this. I need it to do this.
Go
Go and do it. And she's come back. She's done it. She's done
Brilliant.
it. Real. So
Brilliant.
yeah. Number 3.
That sounds good. That sounds good.
Outsource what you can.
Yeah,
definitely.
I keep
not even but like even like a cleaner, just daft little things like that. You can outsource.
Yeah.
Like I was I've always worked the sort of 30 hours, and I had my one free day. And that one free day was my day to do everything. I was doing property, I was cleaning the house, I was cooking the dinners, all that sort of thing. But like just one simple thing, like getting a cleaner. And oh wait, now I've got time to go and do that viewing.
Yeah. Makes such a difference.
Outsource.
Makes such a difference. Yeah, absolutely.
Leverage your time.
The VA. I keep on thinking to myself, I need a VA, and I can't. I haven't quite got there in terms of persuading myself that I want to pay out. But no, it's definitely on my list for very soon.
On the list.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, very much so. Cool. Okay, so you've already mentioned Rich Dad Poor Dad, so you can't have that. But are there any kind of favourite business or property books you're inspired by, or you go back to, or anything like that?
Yeah, I've got quite a few. Let me do
Be here all night.
I've got. I'd say Think and Grow Rich.
I think everyone has to read that.
Well,
not even once, because it's one of those you have to keep going back to.
And you see different stuff every time. Yeah, so it's great.
Every time.
And he says that. He says that, and you're like, oh every
time. There's that. I don't know if you've read the Wealthy Gardener.
Oh, I'm reading that.
No, I've not read that. Wealthy Gardener.
I need to find out.
The Wealthy Gardener.
I like that.
Yeah, I'm sort of halfway through, but it's sort of mindset things. It's
investments.
Yeah, investment. The bit I'm at the minute, which is really, really good. He talks about your hour. What does he call it? He calls it your it's like a focus hour, but he's got a name for it, and it's basically where you schedule it. You schedule it into your day, and you set aside time to plan and just think about where you want to go. And even if you're just sat in a quiet room with a blank sheet of paper, that is fine. I'm the sort of person who's like, this needs doing, and the kids are here, so I need to be doing something with them. Oh, my laptop is on, I need to be doing something with it. But it's that kind of recognition of actually, when I am sat here quietly thinking, it's reflecting. That is, exactly. That's time well spent as well.
Absolutely,
It took me a bit of time actually to maybe sort of accept that. Yeah,
and it's a struggle sometimes.
And I like it.
I think when you're busy, you always think, well, I've got all these things to do, so it's a waste of time if I'm not doing them. I'm not ticking another thing off the list. But it's really important to kind of stop sometimes. I'm terrible at it.
Yeah.
I have to admit, I'm terrible at it. But it's really good when you manage to do it. I'm going to read that though. That sounds good. Any others?
It's John Soforic.
He's the author.
Okay.
John Soforic. Soforic. Soforic.
Yeah, I'll look
The Wealthy Gardener. And the richest man in Babylon.
Oh yeah,
that's another one of my favorite. And I would say those are like my favorite books. And I listen to Les Brown a lot as well.
Okay, I saw some of his stuff a little while ago. Yeah. Cool.
But business books, I think that the Wealthy Gardener is sort of businessy as well, but I've not had like a proper business book at the moment, and I don't know.
Cool. They sound good. Cool. So let me have a look. So any tools that you use? I know you said Podio. Do you use anything else like that help you kind of manage things around?
Rightmove.
Right move, yeah.
Right move. Right move is a must. It's a must.
Must have app on your phone.
Yeah, I've got it.
Constantly.
Check it all the time.
Yeah, same, yeah.
Notifications. So we use Rightmove. We've got Gumtree and Spare Room as well.
Yeah.
But we've only I've just started looking at it for just I'm sort of looking at HMOs.
Okay. Yeah.
Just finding out, like the sort of room rates and stuff.
And demand and things like that.
And demand, yeah. So it's not part of our main strategy because we're sort of looking at buy-to-let and, a lot family houses, flips and buy-to-let. But I've had a few conversations with a few investors, part of the sourcing business, who are interested in HMOs as well.
Okay.
And then we do happen to have a guy on the radar who's got an HMO that he wants to sell. So now I'm I'm trying to understand how it works and talking to people. So this is why I've got Spare Room and Gumtree. So I'm sort of learning that, the use of those apps. I would say Rightmove was...
I am on a daily basis.
You're the system girl. That's the system. So tell all about
because I am really serious about keeping myself on track.
Yeah.
trying very hard. I'm always kind of looking for little bits that are going to make my life easier. So it's just daft little things like I've just recently downloaded like a what do you call them? Like a to-do list app. It's just a Microsoft to-do list app. And I like the satisfaction of like ticking it off. He's used a notepad and paper. He still has a diary from like ever.
It's highly sophisticated.
Forget that. So just like Microsoft to do, and it's been working brilliantly. With having our VA, we used to use WhatsApp loads. How handy is WhatsApp and voice notes and things?
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Fab. So I have a dream. I wake up, I'm like, I must ask the VA. So I'm like recording her a message on WhatsApp. But we're moving away from WhatsApp and we've started using Asana.
Oh, okay.
Which it's been working really, really well, actually. So, we've got our different projects because there are, kind of loads of different branches to what we're doing. We've got our website coming up, so these tasks are involved with that.
Yeah.
We've got our social media, all our different platforms, all the, our ideas for posts and all that sort of thing. We're able to just kind of map everything out on there. It's got a calendar, so you can kind of sort things out to where and when you want to use them. So Asana has been a really, really good tool.
Yeah. We use Trello. I think it's very similar. I think they're similar, Trello and Asana. Yeah. They're really handy, aren't they, those tools?
They are.
Really
they are
handy.
just for managing tasks.
Yeah.
Because they are a lot of
it's easy.
Facets.
And it's easy to get lost, where you're at with something, with a project. You kind of think, has that happened? And if you're assigning tasks to like a VA, for instance, or other people, it's nice to have it there.
It's easy.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm writing that. I'm getting assigned all the time. The phone buzzes and it's like, you've been assigned this new task.
I didn't agree to do that job. My God.
What else do we use a lot? We use Google Sheets a lot.
Oh yeah, same, yeah.
A lot.
It's good for sharing and
Yeah, I really like.
So you can go on it anywhere, type something up, and I get it. Just upload it on the cloud. Everybody gets it. So that's it's good.
We also use Canva a lot.
Same. Yeah. I love Canva.
For kind of our social media stuff, our kind of marketing stuff, we're doing a lot of that on Canva.
Yeah.
We've also used Fiverr. Fiverr.com.
Yeah.
But I've got that as an app on my phone. For things like our branding and stuff, we got via Fiverr, which was really good.
That's great. Yeah, so many different apps and programs and stuff these days. Yeah, it's great. Cool. Okay, so 2 more kind of questions, and then we'll kind of close up. So this one is, your employer says that they're going to have to make you redundant, and you've got 6 months to prepare. What would you do? Sorry, it's kind of apt at the moment with coronavirus and stuff. But you guys are safe. You've got your jobs. But this is something that kind of, it's more real now than for a long time.
Definitely. I think the first thing would be, but once I've had, a cup of coffee or a gin.
I was just going to say something stronger.
I think I would be trying to do my best to sort of kind of expedite, what we are doing now, because I don't think there is anything that we are not doing because we're working, in terms of building our property business. Obviously everyone could do with more time, but at the minute, we are managing to do the things that we need to do to kind of keep our business going. So if, in 6 months' time, it just meant that, I wasn't trying to kind of do, speech therapy reports in the afternoon, and then try to kind of plan my property things in the evening, and I could just kind of do them in the daytime, then actually that would be all right.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
I'd say at the moment with the job, it's like, because we're in a transition where we've got the job and we're trying to break away from the job and work, for ourselves full time. The job is helping us, paying the bills and doing bits and bobs at the moment, and helping with the business as well. But if I was told that my employment would be terminated in 6 months, I'd say I would just start just focusing more faster on my business. Yeah.
So it almost
in a way,
oh, the internet.
Because you want that sort of, helps with the bills and that, so you don't want to mess that up completely. But you need to detach yourself from there and then solely focus. So if my employer was to say 6 months, that's it, then I'd be like, okay, fine.
It would be more of a bump than the kind of gentle transition that we're working on.
I always think there's a thing, if you're thinking about property investment, you're thinking about the longer term, aren't you? And you're probably, because of that, you're probably quite sensible in some ways, So making kind of ditching your job one day, being impulsive, it probably doesn't. It's probably not us. You know what I mean?
No,
it's probably not like we're probably not that sort of person. But with that, it's almost like a catalyst to kind of move you on potentially. But
you're like, well, we need to get going now. Full time.
Yeah.
So
so
a good thing.
Maybe.
Don't jinx it. No.
Sorry, I shouldn't have asked it.
And it's not being pushed, I think. Yeah. I think I want to jump out of the airplane. I don't want to get pushed.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm not ready.
Yeah. So, last of the questions. This is the last of the questions. So, if you could speak to your 18-year-old self, what advice would you give them?
My 18-year-old self, God, where was I when I was 18?
Partying.
Partying hard. I would be telling my 18-year-old self that your natural hair is beautiful. I think I went through a phase of not loving my natural hair, number one. Number two, I would be telling me to read Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Yes. Get it in early.
Whether I would have listened at that point or whether it would have resonated as much with me at that point, I don't know. But it's in there. So I would tell me to read it.
Yeah. Cool.
I would tell myself to start planning for the future.
Yeah.
And just that, you know, like I was saying to you at the beginning, you know, business was always just something that, you know, those people over there did. And it's not now that I'm 21 that I am past, that I am, you know, kind of more open to that, you know, that realization that it's not just for other people, but it's for people like me too.
Yeah.
So I think I would tell myself that it's okay to be interested in business. In fact, look more into it.
Yeah.
And it, you know, it might not necessarily be that I would tell myself to look into property specifically, but just there are so many other options out there, aren't there? And, you know, kind of in terms of business, in terms of investment, that's just something that I just went right by me.
Same here.
When I was
same here. Yeah,
kind of
absolutely.
that age.
Yeah. Cool. There you go.
I would say to myself to follow my dreams. You know, just listen to your heart and don't be afraid to make certain decisions that will probably, I'm not saying that in a bad way, but maybe upset, you know, the family, or it's not popular in the family, you know, like the likes of, you know, you need to go to uni, stick to uni, get a job, and then just work all your life. I would say you know, there's more to life than just that. Find your passion, and then once you find your passion, everything else will just fall into place. So yeah, just roughly that. I've always been.
I wonder if like that specifically, to, you know, kind of follow your passion. I'm sure I've been told that in the past, but you know, kind of actually doing it. So it's more.
You're
scared of kind of following my passion. I think it's that not knowing. I think for a long time I just, you know, people would say, you know, what are you passionate about? What do you like? what do you want to be? But at that point, it's not that people were telling me to follow my passion, but it's that I wonder if it's the circle.
Yeah, maybe.
I think maybe at 18 I would be branching out my circle a little bit.
Yeah, so that
maybe
more exposure. Yeah.
Cool. That's great.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, that's it. So thank you again for coming on to the podcast. It's been great.
Already?
Yeah. And I'd love to kind of keep in touch and follow your progress over the next few months, years. That'd be fantastic.
Oh yeah, it'd be nice.
Yeah, definitely.
If you've got any questions about HMOs and stuff, I'm always, you know, around. You can pick my brains. And
all right. Oh, good. Of
course.
Fine. Yeah, I've been in touch.
What? So if people want to keep in touch with you, want to see what you're up to, where's the easiest way for them to find you?
Your Instagram would be number one.
Probably Instagram, yeah. Search Caroline Piana on Instagram or DNC Property Investments on Instagram. You'll find us there.
Facebook page.
DNC Property Investments on Facebook. You'll find us there.
Yeah. I've got a LinkedIn page, Diego and Piana. I think that's it. If you search me on LinkedIn, there's not much at the moment, but we're working with the VA at the moment to bring out content, and then, you know, more pictures and that. I think it's a bit dry at the moment. So, but that's where they can find me.
And our website is in the pipeline, dncpropertyinvestments.co.uk.
Yeah.
Coming soon. Last finishing touches.
When will it be up, do you think? When will it be up, do you think?
think it was
within the next week, I would say.
Okay.
Definitely. It's just the last couple of things to do on it.
Yeah.
This will go up after that then. This will go up after, so it will be live when this goes up. So what is it?
Right.
Do it again.
Website. DNC Property Investments.co.uk.
Yeah, great. That's great.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, guys.
Bye.
See you then. Ta-da.
Take care.
Bye. So that's the interview, and I hope you enjoyed it. It was great for me to catch up with Caroline and Diego to learn about their story so far. I'm going to catch up with them again in maybe a year's time to see where they're at that point. I think it's really good to look back on what you've achieved, and hopefully having this record of the interview will help them look back and see how much they've achieved in a year's time. So this week's recommendation is Zoom. That call was done on Zoom. I've been using it a lot recently to do networking calls. It seems quite stable, although there was a few glitches. It seems a lot better than Skype, which I've used before, but didn't really get on with. So yeah, it's really, really great. So that's it from me this week. Thank you again for listening, and I'll see you next time. Thank you so much for listening to my podcast, and I really hope you enjoyed it. If you have, please leave me a 5-star review to help other people find it, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button.